Hello everyone, it is time to read some Christmas books. I have my Christmas mug here, or at least a snowman. You know, it definitely works. I had a cauldron mug during the entire fall season, so we've switched it out for a snowman, and it's time for a reading vlog. I haven't done one of these in a while, it feels like. Put that back there so I have my hand. I was trying to do one a month this year, and for a while I was doing really well, but I don't know, I don't feel like I've actually done a reading vlog since what, my readathon? It's been a little while. But what else should we be doing in the month of December except for reading some Christmas books? Or at least that's the vibe that I definitely have been feeling lately. We are currently in the second-ish week of December, and things are happening this week, so I'm very excited to be going through this with you this week. I do have Christmas books here. We're going to talk about the ones that I would hope to get to. And so yeah, let's start with the physical books that I have here, because I do have a couple. First off, these are the perfect two colors, red and green. So the first one we do have here that I definitely want to get to is In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. I have been dying to read this one since it came out a couple years ago. I bought it for myself last year and just didn't get a chance to read it, so I definitely want to read this one. It's going to have a time loop aspect, which I absolutely love. I've seen it multiple times in Christmas movies growing up and everything like that, and so I definitely want to read this one. And then a different one that I have here is The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. This one I picked up recently because there was a buy two get one free book thing at Target. I can't get the sticker off right now. I'm gonna have to use a hairdryer or nail polish remover or something. And I always get books for my kids for Christmas. We open them on Christmas Eve, and those are the books that we read before going to bed, because, you know, we're still in picture book territory. And so I got them a couple books, and I needed something else for the buy to get the third free, so I found a Christmas one, and I was like, you know what, let's do this. This has been on my radar. Nothing too crazy, I really don't know too much about it. It does sound like it's gonna feel very Hallmark romance, which I feel could be very, very fun. So that's all I know about this one. I do really like this cover though. This was an indie book that got picked up by Bloom, and I mean, I'm not gonna get into a weird indie versus traditional rant here necessarily, but I'm having a hard time figuring out where to place these books in my stats now, indie versus traditional, because they're indie books, and Bloom Publishing is only the publisher of indie books that they pick up, and I don't think they're doing any extra editing or anything for these books. So in my mind, in my heart even, they still feel like indie books that got picked up. Whereas you'll sometimes see indie books that got picked up by Tor or other publishers where you can tell that they had some hand in making this, you know, go out and do other stuff. It is now traditionally published, obviously, and I guess Bloom technically is a traditional publisher, but it sounds like they just acquire these indie books and slap a new cover on it or something to market it to people. What do you guys think about this? Because it's something that has been on my mind, obviously. I said no ranting, I sort of ranted. Let's continue. I also have Silent Night by R.L. Stine. This is going to be my only Christmas book that's not actually a romance. And so I do want to read this as well. I think I might save it for if I'm starting to feel a little bit burnt out on romances. Oh, hello. A book. So we'll see. This is going to be a super chiller. It says, Happy Holidays, You're Dead. So I mean, yeah. And then I actually do have a couple other ebook things that I could read that are Christmassy as well. So one of them is one that I picked up last December during a Stuff Your Kindle event, and obviously that event happened after Christmas, so I didn't read it because the holidays were over, but it is Secret Santa for Grumpy Elves by Laura Greenwood. This is going to be under 100 pages, very, very short, but it is supposed to be some sort of romance, paranormal romance, I guess, because it has elves in it. I definitely want to try this out because I've had it for almost a whole year now, and it is going to be very short, and obviously it's an ebook. And then the other one I have is one that I picked up recently called Sugar and Snow by Irene Davis, and this is going to be a Nutcracker retelling, sort of after the events of the Nutcracker happened, but our main character is potentially gonna have a romance with the Mouse King instead of the Nutcracker. Like, I'm very curious about this one. Again, it is an ebook, so I like having the option of having ebooks and physical books. Ebooks are actually a little bit easier to read in bed with the kids sometimes. So we'll see. I did not plan far enough ahead for this video to actually have an audiobook ready to go. I have been listening to audiobooks recently in the car, driving Presley to school. I'm going to be driving Elliot to school later this week, going to OT, all these kinds of things, and so I did not plan to have a Christmas book. I've also been sort of avoiding specifically adult romances, because you never know exactly how steamy they get, and I have kids in the car. So I think I'll probably still be listening to audiobooks out and about, but it'll probably be YA, like how things usually are when I'm out. And I do have a YA book already checked out from Libby, but I guess I'll keep an eye on that too, just in case I do want maybe more of a Christmassy one for the drive. But yeah, that's it. I will say I'm going to be editing soon, because today is Monday and I have videos go up on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so the video I filmed this weekend needs to be edited to go up tomorrow. So that'll be one of our first things that we do. Presley's already at preschool. I will be picking him up later, closer to lunchtime. Elliot's going to hang out with us. And that's sort of how we're going to do it. We're just going to see how many Christmas books I can actually fit in 1 week, with some other stuff going on as well. And I'm taking you guys along for the ride. Okay, so I have not started reading anything yet, but in the midst of getting Presley from school and all this kind of stuff, before we start the book, Presley wants to do a craft. And I'm 100% okay with that, because I bought these. I got these clay ornament kits from Target. We have a red one with white and 2 different kind of green paints for Presley. And then we have a white one with a light purple, light blue, and dark blue paint for Elliot. They are air dry clay, so we're gonna do the clay part today and then let it dry for a couple days, and then Presley will be able to paint it as well. How does that sound?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So I figured, hey, come along for the ride for this as well. I'm gonna set up stuff so that we can make the ornament part today for Presley and Elliot, and then they can paint it, you know, Wednesday maybe, since there's no school on Wednesday. So it is Monday evening, about 7 o'clock. We've had dinner and everything. We're about to take the kids up to go get ready for bed, and I am about halfway through In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. So the first book that I picked up so far has been going very, very well. I am speeding through it, it feels like, just because of like how quick it is to read, but also this is one of those ones where each chapter only starts on the right hand page, so like the next or the page before that is blank, so like that obviously makes it go much faster. I will say that I am not entirely sure where this is going, and I've already looked up a little bit of reviews, because it mentions on the back that not only do we have the time loop aspect, but this is about our main character in a sort of like love triangle between 2 different brothers. And the thing is, based on where I've gotten to in the story, we're getting one brother that I actually thought was the red herring, but now I think I'm mistaken. I think the first person who I do this a lot, okay? I have second character syndrome. I know this is like a topic that people know about, like a definition, I guess, maybe, for people that watch K-dramas. I always end up rooting for the second love interest versus the first primary one, and I feel like that's what I've started to do here. I was expecting it to go one way, and I think we're going the other. I'm not entirely mad at it. My expectations were not what they should have been. Elliot's being a little bit loud, which is fine. She's waiting to be cleaned up from dinner, and yeah, I wanted to at least put that out there. Like, I'm was hoping for one thing, and I think we're going the other way. We're about halfway through now. I'm not 100% seeing the love triangle aspect because of that. Because of the fact that we're mostly focused on one sort of character that she's into, one sort of relationship. I'm not really seeing the love triangle aspect. Maybe it will come in later. We'll see. And then also, we only had a couple time loops at the very beginning, and now that we're halfway through, I was expecting more, and I think we're done with them just because we are halfway through. I think it would derail the entire plot of the story that is currently happening if we have another time loop. So we will have to see that part as well, just because I don't think it's quite going that way. Like, again, like I said, I did look up some reviews. Apparently the time loop aspect is only in like the first third, and I'm now halfway through, so I think we are officially done with that. I feel like I would have liked more, because that's a trope that I really enjoy, and the movies and things that I've seen with it have more than just like 2 time loop sort of things. Like, I would have liked a little bit more. However, I am still really enjoying it, so we'll have to see how this goes. My Bookly app that I use, and I talk about like in every single vlog, but I use to track how quickly I read things, says I'll actually finish this book in like just under an hour and a half. So as long as these kids go to bed on time tonight, I might be finishing it then. Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. I have both kids in the car with me. Say hi. Hi. Elliot's back there too, obviously. It's Tuesday, so Presley has school today, and actually Elliot has school today as well. She has just started in the last couple weeks, like this will be the 3rd week that she's going on Tuesdays and Thursdays to my mom's school. My mom is like a toddler teacher at like a private daycare preschool sort of thing, and she's not in her room, but she's like right next door, and so she's been doing really good at that. But my mom's not going into work today because my sister is graduating from nursing school and actually has like ceremonies and things today, so my mom's doing that, and I get to do drop off, which is not a big deal, but I haven't ever actually done both kids on the same day yet. So she will be going to school as well. Presley's going to be going to school today too. So we're now just sort of waiting to go drop him off, and then I will drop her off. And I guess I will give you an update on the books and stuff soonish. I did finish In a Holidaze last night. It was a 1-day read for me. So we will talk a little bit more about that. And we have some stuff going on today. So just, yeah, good morning, happy Tuesday. It's bright and early now, and that's the plan so far. Okay, so it is 9 a.m. now. Presley had got dropped off at school. You guys got to see that. I just dropped Elliot off. It's the first time I dropped her off and not like my mom taking her in, so she was not happy to be there. But I think also she fell asleep in the car again because it's a longer drive to her school from Presley's school, because like our house is here, Presley's school is one way, her school's the other way. She was not happy, to say the least. Not only that, but my tire pressure gauge came on, so now I'm waiting in line at a discount tire for them to double check the tires and fill it up with air, and then I will be going back to get Presley because he does have OT today, and it's his last day of OT. He is graduating today, so at least I don't have to keep running around every Tuesday, but I have been listening to audiobooks while I do that, so it's gonna be like less audiobook time. So yeah, right now I am listening to an audiobook. Actually, I'm listening to Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsopolu, which was a book that I was going to read last month, didn't read last month, but it was an arc I got earlier this year that I just didn't get to finish the month that I started it. So I am listening to that right now. I'm like 2 hours and 40 minutes in. I'm listening on 2 times speed, and I've been listening to it since yesterday, actually. I think I just started it yesterday during the drive to school. So I will be listening to it throughout the day, going to pick up kids and going to OT and that kind of thing. But right now I'm just sitting in the line at Discount Tire listening to my audiobook. Okay, so we are officially back from Presley's OT. It's almost 1 o'clock, so I am gonna eat lunch soon, but I at least wanted to come and like actually update on books since I have not really had a chance to sit down and do that yet. So like I did mention earlier, I did finish In a Holidaze last night. I officially read it in one day. It was very, very quick to read, and I'm gonna give it a 4.5. So the things that I mentioned earlier about this book when I was about halfway through, I think those are the things that are like the reason it's not a full 5 stars. So really, the time loop aspect of this, like some of the reviews say, definitely only come in within the first third of the book. I kept waiting for like that shoe to drop. I kept feeling like there was going to be another time loop coming, and by the time I got halfway through and looked at reviews, I realized I guess there's not. It was just, it felt a little incomplete that way. Like I wanted more of that aspect. And then I think also because of that, the romance was not bad, don't get me wrong. I do think it was very sweet, but it wasn't something that we got to see build up. And I'm going to put spoilers on the bottom for anything that I think could potentially be a spoiler, because the romance that we see in here is a friends to lovers, which I do really enjoy, but it is something where our main character already had feelings and love for the person that she ends up with for like almost 13 years. Like she's been pining. And I think because of that, we never got to actually experience the full romance journey. So I was expecting the other brother to be the one that we were going to have this happen for. I'm definitely gonna put spoilers down here because like what I was assuming, and so anybody that's read this before can listen, I guess, or anybody that just wants to know, I assumed that this book was going to be a love story with Theo and not Andrew. And because the whole like setup is that our main character of May makes a mistake by making out with Theo, even though she has feelings for Andrew, and then the time loop aspect comes around. And so to me, a lot of time loop stories, especially holiday ones, are like realizing that like maybe your first thoughts were not the original what they were supposed to be. Like she was always in love with Andrew. And so I kept waiting for her to realize that she likes Theo. Like maybe it was something that she hadn't seen before, that kind of thing. I kept waiting for the time loops to make her realize something different about her and her relationships and this kind of thing. And it didn't happen. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I was going in with expectations of this like revelation and this experiencing of falling in love, which we didn't get because she was already in love with Andrew, who she ends up with. This book is more about her figuring out herself and coming to terms with like her being who she are is perfectly fine, and like realizing that like what makes her happy in life. And so like it was a very good character growth sort of thing. Like I really, really loved that part. There were some aspects relating to her figuring herself out that really got me, and I teared up a bit. Like I really, really loved that, which is why I did give it a 4.5, because even though I had expectations that were not met for certain things of this being a romance, I really loved those other aspects. So like this is one of those things where I did really, really enjoy myself. It was very quick to read, but I know I'm not the only one who went in expecting her to fall in love with the person that she didn't fall in love with. You know what I mean? Like I saw in reviews, multiple reviews of people expecting one romance even though we got a different one. So I think it was just the expectations of knowing it's a time loop story and then realizing that we didn't get as much change and growth in the romance area. That basically stayed the same from point A to point B. Like I was just expecting more from that. So while I still really did love this, the writing style was great. I really love the character growth and like May specifically, I can't give it a full 5 stars. You know what I mean? Then, like I said before, I did go to OT and everything. While driving around, was listening to Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsapolu. We're not talking about this exactly in this vlog here because we're doing Christmas stuff. Just know that I'm really enjoying it. But while I was in the waiting room waiting for Presley to do all of his OT stuff, I read Secret Santa for Grumpy Elves by Laura Greenwood, and I finished it because it's only like 90-something pages. How long did it even take me to read? Not very long, because Presley's thing is like less than an hour total. Let me see, because I track all of that stuff with Bookly. Okay, it says it has 90 pages in it. I don't know if that's 100% sure, because it only took me 25 minutes to read. That's quite quick. But I think I'm giving this one a 5-star because it did exactly what it said it was going to. I did like the writing style. I did like the characters. It was very, very quick. Quicker than I would have ever really expected, I guess. But it was fun. It was a holiday Christmas romance where our main characters are elves, and in this world of the, like, I think it's Obscura Academy, that just means that they're like fae type creatures. Like, they're not elves with Santa's shop. Actually, that's part of the story, is that our main girl character of Holly dislikes that people always ask about Santa to elves because they don't like the cold, and so they don't even live there, you know, like all that kind of stuff. So I did really just enjoy this one. There was no steamy parts or anything like that. It does feel like it's supposed to be college age-based new adult sort of stuff. And it was just really, really cute. Did exactly what I expected, exactly what it said that it was going to do with this sort of elfy holiday romance. I am curious to read more in the series now, because this was like a short story or novella, whatever you want to call it, set in the, like I said, what did I say, Obscura Academy series. And I think it's technically like book number 5, no, book number 3.5, haha. And so like the first one is called Shifting Forms for Clumsy Felines. They also have Drinking Blood for Squeamish Vampires. Like, it just seems very sort of like tongue-in-cheek cutesy, and I did really enjoy this little story. And I finished it, like I said, so I'm very well on track with my Christmas reading stuff, and I definitely want to read more in this series, so that's fun to know, especially because I think I mentioned before, I got this during a Stuff Your Kindle event, and I don't always read them in a timely manner, but it's usually free romance in some way. Ebooks that then you can try out and see if you want to read more from the author or not, and I definitely want to read more from this author, so I'm very happy with that. Now, I also had brought The Christmas Fix with me to OT. I did not end up reading that one, but I think that might be the next one I start. Although I do also have Silent Night here as well, which is R.L. Stine, would be very quick and easy to read. I don't think I'm going to be reading anything else right now because I do need to film. We're going to eat lunch. Eventually, I'll have to go pick up Elliot. So I will probably either update you guys tonight or tomorrow morning about if I either started this one or The Christmas Fix. Presley is back. We have our air dry clay things from last time. I have Elliot's. He has his. And we're gonna paint them. Okay, so we took some time to do the painting on our air dry clay ornaments, and I did want to at least update that I started reading Silent Night by R.L. Stine during Elliot's nap. I got 70 pages in, and I need something more to happen here. We're 70 pages into a 200 and something page book, and our first main character that we're first introduced to is Reva. She is the worst person basically imaginable. She thinks about people very much in terms of how they look or what they can do for her. And so especially with the parts of like how they look, she is very outwardly mean and inwardly mean. So some of the stuff here is very like fat phobic, but it seems to be just her specifically. She's just very not nice. And we get introduced to her cousin Pam, I believe it is, as well. Yeah. Who seemed to be maybe getting in with the wrong crowd a little bit. And it's all revolving around the holidays, Christmas, a department store that Reva's father owns, and Reva's actually Pam's cousin, so they're connected in that way a little bit. But besides that, nothing much has happened. It feels very teen drama versus a thriller, super chiller. So I'm hoping it'll pick up. Like, I got 70 pages in less than 30 minutes. And I say less than 30 minutes. I read this during Elliot's nap. She slept for longer than 30 minutes, but I had some interruptions, and then I ended up putting it down after 70 pages because I just needed a break from it. So I didn't read as much as I could have during that entire nap, but you know, 70 pages is pretty good so far. I'm just really wanting more from it because I don't understand why this is a chiller yet. So that is the update for now. I need to do some more editing on my video, and then I will either come back to you when I know more about that, or if I decide to pick up a different one of the holiday books, because I have one more physical one after this, plus more ebooks and stuff too, so yeah. Good morning and happy Thursday. Elliot scratched me this morning, so that is great. We're starting off amazingly. It is currently almost 8:30. Both kids are at school. Elliot went with Nana today. Presley I took, which means I have a whole morning, so about 3 hours to myself to get shit done. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to do today. I did not read any more last night because I just really didn't want to try and read more of Silent Night. And then I was tired of dealing with kids and all the stuff around bedtime, so I just didn't get any reading done. I want to hopefully finish that one today because there's at least 2 other things I would like to try to finish by the end of the weekend. I need to fold laundry. I would like to also wrap some more Christmas presents that we have because I really do like wrapping, so I usually end up wrapping most of them, and we have a couple other things that are still in boxes in the closet that I need to wrap that the kids can't see, so like them not being here is great. And then one of the things that I'm doing for Christmas is making plushies. Crocheting plushies, let me say. So I will link the pattern creators and everything down below, but so I've been crocheting these like really cute. So this is a unicorn, and this is a dinosaur, and this one is going to be Elliot's, and it's a little puppy. She's absolutely loving dogs recently, that's what she calls them. And because she's under 3, she doesn't actually have safety eyes. I like put eyes embroidered them on, whereas like all the other ones do have safety eyes because the people that are getting them, the kids that are getting them, are older than 3. I need to make Presley's, and Presley knows I'm doing this. He knows what everybody is getting, so like the only time I really have to crochet his, and these ultimately don't take too long, like you do the head, you do the body into the legs, you do the arms if they have arms. I mean, I think they all have arms, but like the little dinosaur one has little tiny arms compared to like these. And then once you have all your pieces, the head and the body and the legs are all connected, but you have to sew on like ears, arms, tail, anything like that you have. And I don't want him to know what he's getting. I only can do this while people are at school. So I do have stuff to do. I also need to eat breakfast. I have not had breakfast yet, so I'm going to do that first. But I think that ultimately means I'm probably not going to be reading Christmas stuff. I have less than 20 minutes left in my audiobook of Threads That Bind that I'm 100% really enjoying. I know it's not Christmassy, but it's the audiobook that I'm currently listening to. It's gonna be a 5 stars. Like, it's been so good. Also, I don't know who the narrator is of this audiobook specifically, but it's amazing. They are doing such a good job. So I need to crochet because I definitely need to do Presley's stuff while he is not here. But I mean, like, they're adorable. These things are adorable. I'm so glad that I spent the money, 1, on the patterns, and 2, on the yarn, and then I'm spending my time doing this just to make plushies for all the nieces and nephews, and my kids too, but like, they're adorable. So that's my plan right now, basically, is I need to have breakfast, and then I sort of need to go fold laundry, I need to crochet, I would like to wrap presents. I only have like 3-ish hours, and actually, because it is like almost 8:30 already, 2.5 hours to do all this kind of stuff that I want to do before I have to go get Presley. But so that's your update for now. I will hopefully come back either when I have some progress done with things, or when it's time to talk about books, you know, all that stuff that I'm supposed to be doing too. Yeah. Okay, the battery died as I was like finishing this, but so this is what the head of his is gonna look like. I think with the little different color changes down here, I'll make that like the bottom. So it should be like this sort of thing. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell what it is, and I don't want to say it necessarily out loud in case he somehow does watch this. And so it is a little bit wonky on the bottom. They had me do a weird stitch that I've never done before. It was a little bit intimidating, but this is the head of what will be Presley's plushie. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so Presley is here. I finished Silent Night by R.L. Stine just recently. It's like almost 2 o'clock. Didn't take me too long to do, which is good. But I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars. This is definitely, it says a super chiller, so it's more of like thriller mystery sort of thing. Weird stuff is happening at this like department store, and like I said before, we had like Reva's and then Pam's point of view, and like they're related, and I guess like it's sort of related in the mystery aspect, but also sort of not. Like I felt like it was weird, like it almost needed to be like one or the other, and then the actual like conclusion of it, like I knew what it was, but at the same time it just felt like it didn't have enough concrete explanation for it. Like it was okay. It was okay that way. This is actually the first in a trilogy, I guess, all following Reva, who is like the really, really mean girl in here that I did not like. And like at the end of this, because it's gonna be Christmas season and all this stuff happened, she's like, oh, I'm gonna be better. I don't know if she actually is gonna be better. But I did not think it was as good as it could have been. It was quick to read. It was fine. 3 stars. Hello, happy Friday. Presley is at school. Elliot is hanging out here with me today, asking for snacks, so we're gonna make this update quick. I started reading Sugar and Snow by Irene Davis last night. I am about 42 pages in, or about 19% in, and I think I'm gonna DNF this one. This is one that I picked up during a Stuff Your Kindle event, so it was free. Not like it was anything too crazy that way, but it's supposed to be like a Nutcracker retelling, continuation, where there is going to be like a fantasy romance sort of plot with the Mouse King instead of the Nutcracker. I do not like the writing style. I don't like how sort of, I don't know how to say, like it's trying to be a little bit more like, I guess, classic writing, like I guess what the original Nutcracker story might have been, and it's not really working for me because they're also not exactly going into more detail. It still seems very sort of like this happened, then this happened, then this happened, but the writing is just not working for me. Also, we have officially been introduced to both the Nutcracker and the Mouse King, and I'm not into either character, and so I just do not think that this is the book for me. So I am going to just sort of DNF this. Not my thing. Like I said, Elliot wants a snack. Let me go get her that, but that means I am going to be starting another Christmas read today. I'll probably, there is a cat here. I will probably be starting the Christmas Fix. Okay, so I know I said I was probably going to start reading the Christmas Fix, but I finally got to unbox some book boxes for my channel. I had Illumicrate, Afterlight, and Rainbow Crate, and the Afterlight book is a Christmas book. It's Second Chances in Newport Stephen by TJ Alexander. I really, really like what they've done with the cover because I wasn't the biggest fan of the original cover, and it's a second chance romance with a trans character. It's like a male-male romance. I'm super excited for this. I've heard good reviews, and like it doesn't seem to be that long. I might actually read this one next because I've been wanting to read it, like really, really wanting to read it. So we might pick this one next. I still have about a little less than an hour until I had to go get Presley from school, and Elliot's here with me, so I might not get to read it right now, but I'm now debating between this one and the Christmas Fix. But I technically still have 3 days left. I could potentially do both. Potentially, since I ended up DNFing Sugar and Snow. We'll see, but like, it's gorgeous. morning and happy Saturday. So one thing that I had not been updating, but I guess I should, is that my husband and I have a like jam fruit spread advent calendar. It's only 12 days, so we've been doing it sort of every other day, but we skipped a couple times. So this time when I opened it, we got fig and cardamom and caramel and cinnamon. So that's what I'm having with my breakfast today. I made some biscuits from a can, and then I'm going to have some of this on there. I've actually already tried them, so did my husband. They're actually pretty good. Some of the last couple days that we've had have not had like super different flavors. Like it was just like, oh, it's a fruit of some sort. Like it's not very noticeable. The fig, you can definitely tell is fig. Caramel obviously is caramel. My favorite one was a like sweet orange guava and lime. And like I would have bought a jar of that, but apparently it's only for the advent calendars. So I'm a little bit sad about that, just because I would have bought more because I really actually liked that one. But this was only up through day 8. So we actually still have 4 more jars to go for like next week. But that's just a little update. So like I said, I have my breakfast here, and then also we finished the handprint ornaments. Those are up on the tree. I will put some footage of Presley doing that and like some pictures and stuff. But one thing I will say is that we did the handprints on Monday. We let them dry until they were pretty much dry. And then on Wednesday we did the hand paintings. It is now Saturday morning, and when I actually took them off the parchment paper I had them on to put them on the tree, the backs are still a little bit wet. But we put them on the tree anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna eat my breakfast. I actually have both books that I'm hoping to read some more in. I did get a little bit of reading in Second Chances and Newport and Stephen done yesterday, but only like, I don't know, 50 something pages, maybe not even that. It was during Elliot's nap time, and it was not as much as I wanted, just because she ended up like sleeping on me. But so far so good. We've gotten to the part where like the two people have met again in this like however many years later from when they knew each other previously. I think they were like high school sweethearts or something like that. I do definitely want to read more of this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish it today. If I can though, I do want to read this as well. But usually when I do reading vlogs, I only end up going Monday through Sunday. So like I only have today and tomorrow left. So yeah, I mean, today we're not really planning on doing anything too crazy. I probably need to try and finish some more crocheting stuff. But besides that, it's more a like sit at home, enjoy the weekend sort of thing, because this week was a little bit busier. So we'll see. Okay, so it is Sunday night. Usually that is when I would end the vlog, and I'm definitely considering it. But I have finished Second Chances in Newport Stephen. I read over half of it, like got through more than half of it last night. I made myself read for an hour because I knew I wanted to read it, and I just didn't necessarily want to stay up and read it, but I'm glad I did. I made myself read for an hour. I got over halfway through. And then I finished it today, throughout the day, most of it during Elliot's nap. I absolutely love this, like, underneath the dust jacket cover, so I'm keeping this on. I know I said earlier, I think in the unboxing, and I think also to you guys, that I liked the new dust jacket that they have for this, like, Afterlight version, and I do, but I think it is also missing a little bit of, like, the vibes for this book that the original cover actually do invoke, even though it's not my favorite, like, illustration style and that kind of stuff. So we're showing the manatees. This is Second Chances in Newport Stephen. I did finish it. I'm giving it 5 stars. I really, really liked this one. I liked the second chance romance element of it. I did like the characters and how one of them, you know, starts off this book already being trans. We do get a little bit of a talk of, like, how that sort of, like, they discovered that because it was, like, after high school, after college, like, they were much, much older. And I like that we also have the other character sort of questioning what label he actually is now. I like the discussion of a lot of this. They also bring up demisexuality, which is not necessarily, like, the actual label that they're going to be using and stuff, but I did like that we had the different discussions of that. I thought both characters were very well developed. I liked the relationship and the cutesiness of it, and the fact that we were able to have this, like, really pure sort of, like, second chance romance and very, like, queer positive view of it. Like, it was very good that way. My only thing about this, and I still give it 5 stars, my only thing about this is that one of our characters is a dad. He has a 4-year-old daughter, and I have a 4-year-old son, and yes, I know not all kids are going to be super, super similar, but for a kid that is supposed to be 4, she acts 7. She is too eloquent, too much stuff in here that I'm just like, I wish they would have dumbed it down just a little bit, because even though I have a 4-year-old and he is a boy, and yes, sometimes girls do stereotypically have more speech and language and stuff like that earlier than boys, I don't know, there was something about her as a character that just didn't feel 4. I just feel like they either should have dumbed it down a little bit or aged her up even a little bit. Like, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, bad character, it was just, I felt that, I'm being nitpicky about it, but I felt because I'm currently experiencing a 4-year-old, there was just a little bit too much about it that was unrealistic, in my opinion. But I still really, really love this one. And now, like I said, it is Sunday night. I really still want to read The Christmas Fix. I don't know if I'm going to read tonight because I feel like we're just at that point where, like, tomorrow we still have school going on. It's only like 6:30 something, almost 7, but it's going to be time for getting the kids to bed. So we'll have to see how I feel after that once we get the kids to bed. But that was the book I was originally going to be reading instead of Second Chances in Newport Stephen, which I did love. I'm so glad I picked that one up. But this vlog isn't going up until Thursday, so, like, I could potentially try and fit one more book in and not have it be too crazy with editing and stuff. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do. I think I'm going to try and fit in one more Christmas book into this vlog, even though it's Sunday night and normally I would just be like, my week's over, we're done. We're going to try. I have it sitting over here, so I'm not going to grab it right now, but I want to try this one. It feels, based on the summary that I don't really remember everything about, it feels very Hallmark romance-esque, very Christmassy. A lot of the things that I've just read that were Christmas were just, like, set at Christmas. It had the Christmas vibes, but it wasn't necessarily, like, the biggest part of the story. Like, yeah, we had some Christmas stuff, but, like, I'm curious to see how much this one's going to give us because of the fact that it just feels like it's going to be very Hallmark romance Christmas stuff. Okay? Does that make sense? I think it does. I'm going to try one more book before we finish this out. Let me actually close it out here. I said, you know what? Let's continue. Let's continue this vlog. Read more Christmas books. It's Wednesday now. I need to edit you so you can go up tomorrow. I've only gotten 34 pages into The Christmas Fix.
which I did read on, was it Sunday night? And I just have not been able to keep up with it. I want to read this, I just haven't. This is still going to be my next read. I am going to continue with this, but I guess you're going to have to wait until my wrap up for December to figure out if I like this or not, because yeah, it's just not happening getting into this vlog. So enjoy everything else, and that should be it. I guess I will see you guys in my next video. Sorry about trying to be very overachieving here. It did not work.